Hi friends, in this video we're going to be wrapping up the 2024-2025 homeschool year. Let's talk about how the year ended, let's look back at all the curriculum that we covered, and let's just say goodbye to this homeschool year. Let's get started. Hi friends, if you're new here, my name's Sam and I am a homeschooling mom to 3 kiddos, 2 of which I homeschooled this year. I had Mr. 7, my first grader. He just wrapped up first grade. I cannot believe it. And we also had Miss 5, who is in preschool. She will be in kindergarten next year. My heart. And we also have Mr. Toddler, who is just being a toddler. So he is not a part of our homeschool day. Obviously, he's too young, but he is, of course, a part of our house. So I have to mention him here because sometimes I think people think I only have 2 kids. No, I have 3. Just he's not a part of our homeschool yet. So before I get started, let me mention some of the things that I have already done that you guys might want to check out. I have already made a science review for the science that we used this year. We used the Good and the Beautiful Sparks and Stars and Wind and Waves. I made a whole video on that, so I'm not going to be talking about that in this video. You can go check out that video. I also made an entire video on all of the Catholic curriculum that we used this year and the books that we read. So if you're interested in any of that, please go check that video out. This is the time where if you want to request something, if you want to see inside something, now is the time. Drop me a comment down below. Just do it now before you forget. I'm going to talk about the rest of the curriculum that we used this year, but if you'd like to see something specifically, if you want to see some details, even something I've already done, but you want to see more on it, please, this is the time. I have a few videos that I am planning to do. I'm going to do a video on all of the read-alouds and the movies that we watched. I have a video planned for some preschool resources that aren't curriculum, but like manipulatives and things like that. I have a video planned for like early readers that my first grader loved. So if there's anything else you want to see, this is the time to ask. I'm going to do some homeschool organization. I'm going to do like a prep with me video. I've already actually started printing things. I know, don't judge me. Of course, you'll see next year's curriculum pics as well. So if there's anything else you want to see or you want to see details on something, please, now is the time. Drop it down below and I will hopefully be able to make it for you, okay? So anyway, okay. Let's talk about how this homeschool year ended. So I did do some updates throughout the year. I was pretty good about it. The second half of our year was honestly just really weird. We took things slow coming out of Christmas break in a lot of our subjects, so we didn't really start everything back up until February. And then March hit and I had a week planned off. Like I'd already sort of calculated, okay, we need to take a week off here. And so we did that, but then at the end of that week, we all got sick. So then we took another week off. And then when everybody's sick, and it's not just like a little sick where you have a cough and can kind of like still function. No, it's like everybody's sick and you can't do anything. So when you come back from a week like that, it just takes a while to come back. So honestly, it was almost like we had 3 weeks off in March. So it was just, March was rough, and then it felt like we were just so behind by the time April rolled around. I had hoped to be done like halfway through May. That didn't happen. We went all the way, through the last week of May, and really had to be disciplined about doing certain things every single day, which is not something we had to do like the entire first half of the year. I was able to really space things out, go a little bit more with the flow, but we really had to do certain things every single day. And so the end of our year was it just felt a little rough. We survived. We really did enjoy our entire homeschool year, but hopefully that sort of thing won't happen again. But it's okay. It was just a season and we still had fun. We still did things, but it was just a little hard to do some of our subjects every single day that we had not previously had to do. Okay, let's look back though on the curriculum that we used. Let's talk about our final group subject. Like I said, I already did a video on our Catholic stuff. I did a video on our science stuff. Let's talk about our geography. So we did a world geography unit. And my thought process with that, and I think I might have explained this, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but my thought process with that was that my kids obviously are little. My oldest is in first grade. I wasn't ready to start a 4-year cycle, through the ages, whatever. And I kind of, did some backwards mom math, and I decided, okay, well, I want to start ancients when they're in this grade, and then before I do the 4-year cycle, I want to do a U.S. history just by itself before we start, with ancient times. And then I was like, okay, well, before that, I think I want to do just a geography. Let's talk about what the world looks like, where places are, just the world in general. I didn't want to do any history, but just let's explore the continents. Let's look at different countries, maybe just learn small things about different areas of the world, landmarks. We did animals. So that's what I did. So I found this download on Etsy. It worked out so nicely. We went through each continent one at a time. There were extra things that were in this download that I ended up not doing that I thought we might, but it's okay. So I do have this huge stack of all the continents that we did. Each of my kids had their own book for each continent. So they each had one for Asia, Europe, all of the continents. And we just had such a blast doing this. It was so much fun. We learned about 6 different animals in each continent. We learned about a landmark. We colored in flags for every single, let me pull one up here. So this was my first graders. So we learned about each country. Like I said, there were animal studies that we did. We learned about a landmark. Each continent also had like an overview here. Trying to think, did I miss anything? They also included some books to read and some vocab. Honestly, we didn't do the books. I didn't take into account any of the books, and actually I didn't fill out any of the vocab words for each continent. I didn't worry about that. So that was one of the things we didn't do. There was also a cookie recipe for each continent, and there was also like a separate thing on major rivers of the world. Now we did start out doing that, but the problem is I put the major rivers in like a separate one where we did Antarctica, and there was also like overview pages and kind of like its separate book, and it ended up being something that we didn't pull out. Yeah, here we go. Major rivers of the world. And it had a list of them. There was, everything was in the teacher section. So all this stuff, you didn't have to look anything up. We did start out doing it, but then we forgot about it. And then I did put Antarctica in this booklet, but we didn't pull it out otherwise. So here's, penguin. And the way that we did the animal study, we pulled up videos on YouTube, and obviously any part that my kids had to write, I would write for them, but they had to give me the information. So sometimes I made my first grader, practice handwriting and do some things, but sometimes he didn't want to do that. He just wanted me to write things out, and that was fine. As long as he was giving me the information, I would write things out for him. So there was facts on the different animals that they had, anything that they could remember from the video we watched, we would do. And then, like I said, there was a flag for every single country. Even my preschooler did this. If she didn't want to do it, that was fine. And I would color for her. So again, and each of the countries, there was like a little version of the flag here. It has the capital, the language, the area that it takes up, the square miles or the kilometers, population, the currency, and when they gained their independence. Honestly, we didn't look at any of that except for the capital. My main focus in doing this was pulling out a map. Let's find the country. Let's locate the capital. So there was some map skills that my kids learned. Let's find the major rivers. Can you find this city? How do you know that this is the capital and not another city? Things like that. And then we colored in the flag. We had a lot of fun doing that. It worked out really nicely. I didn't fact check any of those things, and honestly, there were a couple typos. A couple of the capitals were wrong. Not a lot. I mean, there's a bunch of countries in the world. Out of all of them, there was maybe 5 capitals that were wrong. There were a couple, I think there were 2 duplicates, like there were 2 Ukraines for some reason, and then there was another country, I think in Africa, where there was a duplicate flag. Other than that, we really enjoyed it. It served its purpose, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Okay, let's talk about my kids' individual subjects. So my first grader, let's start with him. He completed, so I have his little bin here. Okay, he completed handwriting level 1 from The Good and the Beautiful. He completed the entire language arts course, level 1, all 3 units. I have them broken up, so this is unit 3, but I also have the other 2 right here as well. So he completed the entire course. And then he completed math. He also completed math 1. Here's each of the units for that. This one's backwards. Okay, well, there it is. Math, there's unit 2, here's unit 1. So he did that, and he finished early, so he did start math 2. So here's math 2. He went ahead and started. Last year we finished math in February. When he was in kindergarten, he finished kindergarten math in February, and then we didn't do math for the rest of the year, and I decided if that happened again, which it did, I did not want to just not do math for 3 months, and he really likes math, which is also the thing. So I know I've talked about this, letting your kid be advanced if they are advanced. So he finished math early. Now with our 3-week break in March, he didn't get as far as I kind of thought he would, but that's because we took that huge break. So I kind of thought he would be almost done with unit 1. We are about a little over halfway through unit 1 in level 2. That's okay. Okay, not a big deal. Obviously, he's already ahead of it. So he'll continue, obviously, math 2 next year. And when he finishes that early, we will go ahead and start math 3. I know one day it will probably catch up to him. So let him be advanced while he's advanced. Let him work through it at his pace. And that's fine. I know a lot of people always talk about like struggling learners or just taking things slowly at their pace. Well, if they can go through it faster, then let them go through it faster. It works both ways. The other thing that he got through early as well, which this happened last year, and so we just continued on, is he finished up the Booster B cards, and those go with the level 1 language arts. He finished them early. We kind of phased these out at the end of the year because we were trying to get through some other things. We're only 7 cards in, so not too far in, but we'll finish these up next year when he's doing level 2. And I made a whole video on this. If you want to see how we do this, I will make sure to link that below as well. Okay, so let's talk about my preschooler, who is now going to be in kindergarten. So she hung out with us. She wanted to be a part of everything. That includes our science, our geography, our Catholic studies, everything. Now, sometimes she just wanted to sit there and not kind of do like the coloring or something that I had laid out, and that's okay. The only issue that we had with this was actually from my first grader not understanding why it was okay that she wasn't doing something, but he had to do it. So we had to like struggle through that a little bit, and understanding that she's in preschool. When you were in preschool, you were only doing this, and she is now sitting in to a bunch of things that you weren't even exposed to at that age. So we had to have that conversation a couple of times, but we finally got to a point where he understood that he's always going to be the oldest, and he's always going to have more to do at that time. And then when my younger kids are coming up, yes, when they're in first grade, they'll have to do all the things you were doing this year. So we had that conversation quite a few times this year, but we finally got to a place where we understand that, you know, there are different expectations for different ages and grades. So Yeah, if you have had to have that conversation with your kids, let me know how you handled it down below. I'm always looking for some good ideas, some new points to like stick in there to make that make more sense. Okay, so my preschooler, she worked her way through the preschool course book from The Good and the Beautiful. I broke this up into two, so somewhere here is the second half of it. Right here. So she worked her way through this. We finished it, and then we moved into kindergarten prep. My first grader did both of these when he was in preschool, so I felt good doing it with her. These are the new versions. Like, I actually found, and I should have grabbed it, but I found the old. For some reason, I still have my first grader's kindergarten prep, and it was the old cover, you know, the original. Anyway, so we are about halfway, lesson 16, and there are only 30 lessons in this kindergarten prep one. It's shorter. It just sort of reiterates everything that was previously learned. Starts a little bit of like blending sounds together to start getting ready for like reading. But this is just honestly mastering a bunch of things that, you know, numbers, letters, and their sounds. So this is really good to do just to make sure you have everything down before you start, you know, especially trying to read. Okay, so that's what we did with her, and she also worked her way through the pre-writing part 1. We did not finish part 2. I have that here, so she's going to finish that up as well. We're, I don't know, 2/3 of the way, page 80 of 120. So yeah, I nailed that perfectly. Exactly 2/3 of the way through. So she'll finish this up. I'm not worried about her not having finished either of these things before kindergarten. We'll just finish them up at the beginning of the year and then go right into all the kindergarten level stuff. Not worried about that in the slightest. I think it's better to have all this stuff mastered and learned than try to do something too early. And then I also just want to share too, we have all of the activities here. I love that they did this. Like I said, I had the original versions of the preschool and the kindergarten prep that I did with my first grader. I love how organized everything is in here. Oh, just makes it so much easier to do. So honestly, we just loved everything that we did. My kids are so excited to be starting new levels next year. They've already seen me like start to print out our science for next year, so they were very excited. They started flipping through that already. So we already have the bug for next year. Now we are going to be taking a break. We are taking the entire month of June off, just to give everybody some rest. Our weather is still nice in June, and then it gets obscenely hot in July, so that's when we go ahead and just take a bunch of time off in the fall. That's how we have done that in the past and what we will continue to do. So if you have any questions about anything that we did this year and you want to see more, please let me know down below. Like I said, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know how your summer's going. Did you finish? Do you still have things to do? All the things I want to know. I just want to know everything. Let's chat down in the comments. I will see you guys all in the next video real soon.